Hey guys, JH, welcome to Practice Tea. Okay, following on, Davinci. Alright guys, now we've got to work out how to apply what I term maximum rear drive. And rear drive is that's our rear drive mechanism. Because we want a lot of rear drive, because we want, the more that this hip goes back like that and not like that, the more it will have a propensity to drive backwards away and under this lead shoulder, and we can keep that lead shoulder up and we can get the trail shoulder in underneath it here, and we can really fire that trail hand away from that containment position here, from our gunslinger position. Now, as I said before in the other video from yesterday or the day before, this is counterintuitive, guys, and you will never ever have any pro or any teaching mechanism or facility in the world or golf teaching practitioner advocate moving this way when you hit the golf ball. And I wouldn't advocate that in a conventional golf swing, because if you were spinning out and you were moving this way, you just wouldn't make contact, or you'd hit the ball so far left. You'd need golf courses that were 5 times wider on the left than they are on the right, or conversely if you were left-handed. But we're not rotating off the line like that, guys. We're not doing that at all. We're actually doing this. We're very, very similar to the batter, to the baseball batter. Okay, the baseball batter will move this way, but once he's here, he establishes and he fires this way, here. And they rear drive. They rear drive against the trail side firing, to rear drive against the trail side forward fire. Now, as I go forward, I'll work terminology out for that, so that we can use it going forward in our teaching or our explanation mode. Now, guys, what you have to do if you're gonna rear drive, you can't rear drive and not trail fire, because if you don't, you'll drive yourself back here and you won't hit the golf ball. You'll get that type of effect. So as we're rear driving off this articulation of this lead leg here, brought about by the positioning of, now I can't rear drive with my foot there. I can't do it, guys. So this is one of the big departures in Davinci. The lead foot is an entirely different position to a conventional golf swing. Conventional golf swing will either be square or flat out a little bit, maybe maximum 15 degrees or 20 degrees. Guys, if we can get it at 90 degrees, that's where you want to be, because the more that you can angle that foot or position that foot, the more that this leg will drive this way. If you can actually get that at 90 degrees, you've got a perfect articulation in the knee and ankle to force this hip back this way. It doesn't want to rotate around there. You will get an element of that, but it doesn't want to do that as much as we get with a normal golf swing. And of course, when we rotate there with a normal golf swing, the trail side will follow it in this circular fashion. Now, we don't want to be circular that way so much. We want to be circular that way more. We want to have a tilted, a more perpendicular vertical circle than a tilted a plane type circle, which I'll explain better as things progress. But in order to get the amount of rear drive that we need, guys, we've got to be firing forward. So it's very much like the batter. Once the batter's moved into position here, there it is, it's here. This here always does this. They look like that. They go, that's what they look like. Now the only difference is we're down here. So their shoulders, the baseball batter, in his mechanics and his action, his shoulders are on a flatter, more level plane. Ours are on a more inclined, a steeper plane. They're tilting this way as opposed to tilting that way. He's still got this trail shoulder inside the lead shoulder, but it's on a more level plane, and that's the difference between us, because we're down here and he's up here. But that action of rear drive on that forward leg, guys, is a fantastic stabiliser and buttress to hit against with the trail side. Here, it's perfect for that. Absolutely sensational for that. So this part of your evolution with the golf swing now is going to very heavily revolve around the rear drive and the trail side here, firing into this lead shoulder here, like that, with this, guys, with this. Who teaches that? Who teaches that? And it won't look like that in the golf swing. That will be a perceptual feel. Very hard to do that, but you want to feel like you can do that. Just as an aside, guys, it's amazing how things come about in life. When I first started playing golf, I used to play with a very good friend of mine, buddy John Hugo, and we used to play at a pretty upmarket club in Sydney, and the pro there was a guy I'd never met before, but we actually, John invited me to play around with him and the pro one day, and I was only starting out in the game, and I was absolutely besotted by this guy's swing, and I couldn't believe, you know, how he used to hit the golf ball, and he had an old set of McGregor irons and McGregor woods, and he was just, and the thing that really impressed me was how long he stayed on the golf ball when he hit it, and he just hit it fantastic. And I said to John, that's the way I want to swing the golf club. I want to swing a golf club like he does. That's my model. I mean, I was just so enamored with it. And guys, like, I don't know, like 35, 40 years later, I heard from a friend of that pro just a while ago that he saw Davinci on YouTube, or the other pro, that by the buddy of mine that was here the other day, Stuart. He's a good friend of this other guy, and he was talking to him about it, and he had a look at it, and he said, I want to swing like John does, like JH does, with Davinci. Now guys, what a turnaround. When I first started playing golf, I wanted to swing like he does, or he did, because I thought it was amazing. And now after all this time, he wants to swing like I do with Davinci. Isn't that an amazing story? And I haven't seen this guy for probably 25 years. So it's and he's gone down the road of every conceivable method. He's actually a golf machine master instructor. He's done everything. He's done Hogan, he's done Stack and Tilt, he's done Edwin, he's done Mo Norman, he's done everything. But again, even as good a striker as he is, and as good a player as he was, and as good mechanically as he was, he's saying, I don't want to do that anymore, because you know why? That doesn't work. I want something that I can really, and I'm prepared to just discard all that and get something new, because none of that works, and it doesn't consistently. So he wants to do Davinci. So we're going to probably hook up. I haven't spoken to this guy for so long, so it'll be great to hook up again, and I'll be delighted to go down the road with him. He's still as enthusiastic as he used to be, as most of the group of guys that I played with and associated with were and have continued to be so. Just that small group. Okay guys, that's just a story, but I thought it was interesting. I always wanted to swing like him, now he wants to swing like me. Or Davinci. It's not me, it's Davinci. He wants to swing like Davinci. Okay, so what are we doing? So the basic or the baseline of this, guys, is we get our containment here. We've got it here. Then we don't lose that. We've got to get into an address position somehow without losing that. You can't come into address here with this, put the club down and then lose it. If you can't sort of reach it, normally then you've got to waddle in. You've just got to get in there somehow with this still attached. Work out a way of getting in there. And with these two hands further back than normal, you'll even see on occasions when I set up, guys, that I actually look like this. That club and that shaft is in a straight line. Complete opposite to conventional swing. Conventional swing is usually lead arm and the club in a straight line. Well, with Davinci, we're basically back here. It's almost a straight line there, huh? Here. And that comes about, guys, because I've got the hands positioned back. And back with the arms. So, and I need to do that to get the closed shoulder line. And again, one of the really good knock-on effects and features of this golf swing is that by doing this, we immediately get into what I call a pre-turned shoulder girdle position. Now, if it's 30 degrees or 40, it doesn't matter. I mean, what's wrong with being pre-turned in the golf swing? What's wrong with that? Mo Norman did it just by putting the club back there. Mo Norman did it this way. Mo was here and then he just turned to there. So he was way into his turn. But we're going to be into, we will be made to get into our turn because of this positioning of this trail arm and the lead arm back here in that position. We can't do anything else. If we've got our hands up here, there's no way I can get the shoulder shut. I can't do it. And I don't want to do it in a concocted fashion. Here it's just a mechanical knock-on effect. By having my hands back here, as soon as I put them there, this shuts down. And this gets in behind that automatically. There it is. It just automatically does that. Now, I couldn't reach that golf ball unless I waddle forward. I mean, you'll come in here and you'll say, oh, you know, I've got to get out here. But guys, resist that. That's the temptation that you have to overcome. You just waddle in here. Just work out. Get in here. There it is there. That's what we need to have there. So they're the really important things which I keep emphasising, is this requirement never to give up this connection once we've got it. We're not going to give that up once we've got it. Because to do that will erode the efficiency of the closed shoulder girdle. It'll just erode that. As soon as we go forward here, this pops forward. This is not as closed as it used to be. Okay, shoulders are independent, and you can pop this one forward and still keep this one closed. But that's not a natural thing to do. Invariably, you punch that forward and this goes there. We don't want to do that. So guys, these are the little intricacies of Davinci and the Davinci Code. This is part of the code. And why it is the way it is. And why you have to apply the code in this fashion. The code has to be, it just has to be applied as the code needs to be applied. You can't put your own interpretation on it because it won't work. That's what we've got to feel like, guys. All right, now that's a drill. Now that's a hit and fall back. Now, as I said yesterday, we want to have lots of rear drive and we want to have lots of secondary tilt, but we don't want to inhibit the arms to that extent here that we claw them back here and we have hook back, because that will clearly inhibit our club head speed and we just won't get the type of distance we need. Now, as long as we are here when we hit it, what happens after that really doesn't matter. But what you have to do to determine, or to absolutely make sure that you're here when you hit it, closed and connected, you have to feel like you're still closed and connected afterwards. But the sheer velocity of the golf swing, once we're starting to hit full shots, is going to create escape. It's going to pull it forward. But you don't want to feel like it's going to do that. You just want to let that happen. So in essence, it'll basically, it'll look like we're really connected here. See, that's come away. And sure, I'm not going to be like this through the ball, because that's just going to put a brake on the golf club. We've still got to have, at the end of the day, we've still got to have a normal type release trajectory for the golf club, which is that. That's a normal type release trajectory. Ours is going to be a little bit more up and more Ferris wheel, but it's still going to be, you know, arc-like. So we're going to be really committed here to feel everything. So I can actually feel that. I can feel that. Now when I look at those divots, guys, I'm running at about, because I'm really committed to this closed shoulder girdle, but I'm running at about, you know, about 10 or 11 degrees into out now. I really am into out with my divots structure. Okay, I'm playing the ball back a bit further. Now my buddy Stuart the other day played the ball back a lot further than he normally does, but he was still getting really good height. And I certainly get pretty good height out there. Maybe a tad lower than normal, but not really not really noticeable. Yeah, so here we are, guys. So it's here. Here. Guys, I finished there. Can walk off over there. I'm overdoing it, but that's basically what we want to feel. We won't be that convoluted in final application, but you want to feel that when you're learning this. You want to overdo it, and you want to try and drive back as much as you can and fire forward as much as you can, because if you drive backwards, if you rear drive and you don't fire forward enough and get that release there, you won't get the ball. You'll just thin it. The worst shot is you'll thin it, but you'll still hit it straight. Never hit the ball over here, guys. Never hit the ball over there. Just go straight. You might second or third groove it, but you won't hit it over here. Alright guys, I'm going to just change the camera around a little bit, and then we'll come back and hit a few shots. Yeah, I'll change the camera around a little bit and just get in a slightly better position. And we'll talk more about the processes as we go through in video number 2.